At 16, Olivia Reyes was just another small-town girl with dreams bigger than the rural Texas skies that stretched above her. She lived in Spring Creek, a quiet, sleepy town where doors remained unlocked and neighbors waved from their porches. She ran track, made honor roll, and binge-watched crime thrillers with her dad on weekends. You know, she once joked while watching Prisoners, "If anyone ever tried to take me, I'd outsmart them like Jodie Foster in Silence of the Lambs." Her father laughed, unaware that those movie nights would one day save her life. It'd start like any normal Thursday. Olivia had track practice after school, then texted her mom she'd be walking home. It was just a mile. She'd done it countless times. But that evening, the sun dipped quicker than usual behind thick storm clouds, and a sharp wind clawed at her hoodie. Half a mile in, she noticed a van. It passed her once, slowly. She thought nothing of it. Then again, same van, crawling even slower. The third time, it pulled up beside her. The side door slid open. She barely had time to scream. Darkness. She woke up in a haze, cold steel pressing against her wrist. Her right arm was cuffed to a metal bed frame. The room was small, windowless. The air stale and thick with mildew. Her head throbbed. Panic hit her like a tidal wave. There were two of them, men in their late 30s or early 40s. She heard them before she saw them. Their voices were muffled through a thin wall. "She's not like the others," one said. "Smart girl. Gonna be a problem. We just need a few days." The other snapped. "No names. No mistakes. In and out." Olivia's heart raced. The others? How many girls had they taken before her? Would she be sold? Killed? The fear was paralyzing, but even more powerful was her instinct to survive. She forced herself to breathe. Think Olivia. What would Clarice Starling do? The door creaked open. One of the men, tall, greasy hair pulled into a ponytail, entered with a tray. "Eat," he said. His eyes scanned her, not lecherous, more calculating. "Don't do anything stupid." She memorized his face. A small scar under his left eye, a faded tattoo on his neck, an anarchy symbol. She looked for anything she could use. He left the tray on the floor, not bothering to unchain her other arm. Later, the second man came in. He was the leader, shorter, wiry, with a voice like gravel. He brought a phone. "Say this," he growled. He played a script she had to recite. It was a ransom demand. Her parents would receive it by morning. She hesitated. He raised his hand. She said the words. The video was filmed. Sent. Once he left, she wept silently, but only for a moment. She knew what would happen if she broke. Instead, she studied everything. The lock on the door, the way the lights flickered when someone turned on the bathroom fan outside, the single screw loose in the bed frame near her wrist. Every minute matters. The next day, she faked a stomach bug. When the greasy-haired one came in, she vomited near his shoes. "I need the bathroom," she gasped. He cursed, dragged her up, uncuffed her wrist, and walked her down the hallway, gripping her elbow. She spotted a red exit sign at the end. A lock keypad door. 3 digits. Start paying attention. In the bathroom, she found a bobby pin behind the sink and tucked it into her sock. One step at a time. Every move was a gamble. On the second night, they drugged her. She didn't eat the food, but pretended to. It made her groggy regardless. Maybe they laced the air vents too. She counted seconds, held her breath near the vent, used a piece of bread to block the airflow. Anything to keep her head clear. By day 3, she knew their schedule. Scarface always took a call at 9 p.m. from front room. Gravel voice smoked outside by the old shed around 9:15. That gave her 5 minutes. She watched how the keypad worked when they punched in the code. She heard the beeps. She guessed it was 421. Her mind worked like a puzzle box. Then came the turning point. They slipped up. Gravel voice left a cigarette lighter behind in the room. She took it and hid it under the mattress. Later, Scarface dropped his key ring during an argument. She saw him panic, then laugh when he found it by the kitchen table. The ring had a small plastic tag. Unit 42B. A storage unit? A hideout? Suddenly, Olivia had a piece of the world outside this place. She scratched 42B into the bottom of the bedpost with her fingernail. If she died, someone might find it, but she wouldn't die. On the fourth day, she made her move. She feigned sleep, waiting until the clock ticked past 9. Scarface was on the phone. Gravel voice was outside. She had already loosened the screw on the bed frame with the lighter. She yanked it out quietly, used the bobby pin to pick the handcuff. It took longer than in the movies, 2.5 minutes of raw panic, but it clicked open, barefoot. She crept into the hallway. Every floorboard screamed in her mind, but her steps were light. The keypad. She punched 421. Denied. She tried 422. Denied. Think. What would they use? Birthdays? Apartment numbers? She remembered Scarface once mentioned his lucky day, April 14th. She tried 414. Green light. She pushed the door. The outside air hit her like a slap, but the yard was fenced. High. Rusted. She ran anyway. She tripped the motion light. Scarface shouted. She scaled the fence, slicing her hand. Gravel voice screamed behind her. A gunshot split the night. She didn't stop. She made it to the road. Headlights. A car. She flung herself in front of it. The driver screamed, braked hard. I was kidnapped, she gasped, bloodied and shaking. They called 911. The police swarmed the place within an hour. Both men were arrested trying to flee in the van. Inside the hideout, they found rope, photos of other girls' burner phones. One was a known trafficker with connections to a ring in Houston. Olivia had blown open a bigger case than anyone expected. Her parents collapsed when they saw her. Her father never let go of her hand again. The media called her the girl who outsmarted her captors. Headlines praised her crime movie escape. Interviewers begged for her story. She gave one. Only one. I wasn't brave, she said. I was terrified every second, but I refused to be a victim. I remembered everything I'd ever watched. Every movie, every tip. I used what I had. I wasn't stronger. I was smarter. She returned to school with a scar on her wrist and nightmares that sometimes woke her crying. But she also returned with purpose. She started a self-defense club, spoke at assemblies, partnered with nonprofits that rescued trafficked teens. The FBI credited her for helping bust a regional trafficking network. 4 other girls were saved thanks to leads from her case. One was only 13. They all hugged her like a sister. But Olivia never forgot the fear. The smell of that room. The way Scarface smirked when he said, "No one's coming for you." He was wrong. She came for herself. And when they underestimated her, they made their biggest mistake. 3 months after her escape, Olivia Reyes still couldn't sleep through the night. The house she once found comfort in now felt like a museum. Too quiet, too hollow. She jumped at car doors slamming, flinched at dark vans. Every mirror held the ghost of her old self. Everyone wanted her to move on, but Olivia knew something was still unfinished. Because in her bones, she felt it. This wasn't over. The trial of her kidnappers, Aaron Griggs and Miles Keller, was fast-tracked thanks to the mountain of evidence. Both pled not guilty. Olivia testified in court, her voice steady but her hands trembling. The prosecutor praised her composure. The crowd watched in awe, but Olivia saw it. The cold, quiet smile Keller gave her when the verdict was read, life in prison. Still, that smile stayed with her. 2 weeks later, her dad found her pacing in the middle of the night. "You're still looking, aren't you?" he asked softly. Olivia nodded. "There's more." "I know there is." They weren't acting alone. Her dad didn't argue. Instead, he handed her something she hadn't touched since the escape, her old phone. It had been recovered by police, wiped clean for evidence. She charged it, turned it on, and scrolled. There it was, a photo she didn't remember taking, blurred, maybe an accidental shot. But in the background was a rusted mailbox with a partial address, 10289 Riverview Lane. She zoomed in. Her memory flashed. It was a place Keller stopped at, briefly, before they reached the hideout. He said he was dropping off supplies. She was gagged in the back of the van, but heard voices. Not Keller's, not Griggs's. She took a screenshot and began digging. Riverview Lane was a rundown strip outside Houston, full of abandoned homes, scrap yards, and RV lots. She cross-referenced public records, looked through land registry maps. One lot stood out, a property leased by a shell company tied to another trafficking bust in Louisiana. Same burner phones, same style of coded ledgers. That couldn't be coincidence. She called Detective Kara Donnelly, the only officer who had treated her like more than just a witness. This place, Olivia said, I think it's part of the same network. Donnelly took it seriously. Within 48 hours, a task force raided the Riverview property. What they found was worse than Olivia imagined. For more girls, 2 underage, all drugged, all shackled in an underground space hidden beneath a trailer. One whispered, the man with the eagle tattoo said they'd move us to Mexico next week. That same eagle tattoo was listed in Keller's prison intake photos. On his back, it was a brand, a mark of something organized, bigger. The FBI launched a joint investigation with Homeland Security. Olivia, meanwhile, became something she never planned to be, a target. One night, as she left school after speaking at a safety seminar, she noticed a black sedan following her. She turned down 3 side streets. It stayed behind her, not too close, just enough to let her know they were watching. She called Kara. They pulled surveillance footage from a gas station where the car was spotted. The plates were fake. 2 days later, her family received a letter. No return address. Stay quiet. You got lucky once. Don't press it. The paper smelled like motor oil. Inside were printouts, screenshots of Olivia at school, at the grocery store, in her backyard. They were being watched. Her dad begged her to stop digging. Her mom cried every night. But Olivia wouldn't back down. This isn't just about me anymore, she said. They're still taking girls. The FBI moved her family to a safe house, and Olivia, against every instinct, agreed to go silent, at least publicly. But secretly, she kept digging. She got access to a sealed case file from an encrypted source, one of the officers who trusted her. Inside were names of businesses tied to the trafficking ring. One stood out, Elcano Freight and Haul, a trucking company with multiple interstate violations and a warehouse just 3 miles from where she had been held. Griggs once muttered something about moving product by the ton. Olivia had a theory. They weren't just abducting girls. They were trafficking them in hidden freight compartments. She passed the info to Kara. The feds raided the warehouse. They found a refrigerated truck. Inside, beneath boxes of rotting vegetables, were hidden compartments lined with blankets, restraints, and blackout windows. No one was inside, but DNA matched 3 missing girls from Oklahoma, Georgia, and Arizona. The scope had just exploded. The media caught wind of the new discovery and linked it to Olivia's case. She was back in the spotlight. But now, so was the network. The trafficking ring was more widespread, more sophisticated, and more violent than anyone thought. Anonymous tips started flooding in. People who saw something but were too scared to talk before. The FBI created Operation Lantern, a multi-state takedown using intelligence Olivia helped uncover. Dozens were arrested, warehouses raided, victims rescued. One night, Kara met Olivia in private. "I want you to see this," she said. She handed Olivia a file. Inside was a photo. A girl, maybe 12, crying in a hospital bed. She was rescued during the last raid. She asked who saved her, Kara said. "I told her your name. She said she wants to be like you." Olivia broke down. For the first time in months, the weight cracked her open, but it wasn't grief. It was gratitude, pride, pain, all at once. She had turned survival into purpose. The traffickers underestimated her once. Then again when they tried to scare her into silence. They didn't realize she had become something stronger than they could control. She wasn't just a survivor. She was a hunter now, and she was coming for all of them.